Hey guys, welcome to the Coach Russ Propst Show. Jeff Underwood, Jerry White. What's up, buddy?
Hey, just getting ready to do this show, the Coach Rush. Actually, no. Coach, look at that gear.
It looks good.
Look at that gear, Coach.
The baby North Carolina blue.
Woo, we don't say that here. It's the Coosa Blue.
Coosa blue.
Let's just get right into it. Jumped in last week. Anytime you get a region victory, it's a good day.
It is a good day.
Talk about some of the positives you think come out of that game.
Well, I think we won left-handed, and
You said that going in.
feel like we need to win a different way and be a little bit more balanced and a little bit more diversified in our approach to games and the maturity of a quarterback. I mean, at some point in time, like I said last week, there's going to be a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 8, 4th and 7, 4th and 8, 4th and 4, where you got to make a play in the throw game. They've taken one element away, and that's your run game. And you got to get out of your ego and understand that when you're 4th and 7, 4th and 8, you can't run the football. And especially against teams that you got to beat to win a state title. So that point is that you've got to be able to put the ball in the air and you got to be efficient. You got to execute. Last week I thought we did. I thought we got LJ, Mostello, and Grayson Malone involved with the offense. They were explosive. They made a bunch of plays, and I felt like now people have got to look at us different ways. And if you look at the Pell City game, now you look at that game, then there's two different ways, that we are pretty effective in what we're doing. So I feel pretty good about that part, and now do I believe you got to run the football to win championships and stop the run? Yes. But at the same time, you better be balanced in today's game.
Well, Mac, I think, really showed up and did what he was asked to do, 11 for 13, 360 yards, 7 touchdowns. But when Jeff and I talk numbers and analytics, I always go to the completion percentage. 85%.
Yeah, it's pretty
Man,
strong.
that's
It's pretty strong.
that's Rush Propst numbers.
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
I mean, 7 times. I mean, I've done that a couple of times, but not many.
Yeah.
I know when I first started at Kaufman in 2008, we threw for 7 TD passes that night to start a new gig down in south, and it may have been another time that we did, but I don't remember it. So I know of 2 times, and it could have been a 3rd time we thrown for 7 touchdown passes. But at the same time, if you listen to Kirby Smart's press conference this week, he talked about that. He talked about in that league. He's obviously in the SEC. It's a different deal. He said, if you think you can line up and run the football in this league, you got another thing coming. Defenses are just too good. Well, this is not the SEC, but relative to, you have to understand that there's some teams down south and a team up north that you may face quarter, semi, second round that's got to play really good run defense. And then you get in there and you're trying to put a round peg in a square hole, or vice versa, and that's where hopefully we're growing as an offense. And Teddy does a great job defensively, but there's going to be a night, as good as Teddy does, as good a football coach him and Eric Albright and those defense staff is, there's going to come a night that possibly you're going to run into a buzzsaw.
Sure.
And you better be able to outscore your opponent. I don't think you live on that deal every week in, week out. You can't just outscore and that be your philosophy, but you better be able to have to do that in a situation. You just don't want to feel helpless. And that's sort of looking at the maturity of our quarterback, Mac Long, and the ability to get those 2 really good athletes involved. And then basically we've still got some things we got to work on, like check downs to backs. Still not real good at that. Throw the ball out into the flats on swings and shoots and options and check downs and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that will improve. We get Carson Reed back this week.
That's big time.
And so that helps us in that aspect, especially in our empty set. So those are things we've got to get better at in protection. We've got to continue to work on protection and making sure we identify some things and then just get better at it. And I think at the end we'll be a balanced, wholesome offense.
A lot of people jumping on.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That's good. Hey, let's talk a little bit about special teams. Always like to bring that up. I thought Georgie Was 8 for 8 extra points.
Yeah.
But again, I do like to talk about the kicker, but it's the snap, it's the whole process, right? That has to do.
And the protection.
Protection is very important. Ask the NFL teams.
Yeah. This past Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Hope you took the under. So again, I think you're seeing some positive things every week, getting better. Certain areas getting better.
Yeah.
Where are you as far as the offensive line play?
I think we're getting better. I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah.
I think we just took it upon ourselves to think that we had 4 starters back and that we could just walk out there and be as good as we were. And but fundamentally, that some things in our pass pro were not very good yet. I think we're okay. Like Zayden does a pretty good job. Rad does a pretty good job. But the cornerstone of your offensive line is your center. And Maddox Gaines is a 10th grader that's first year playing there, and he's a very pivotal part because he has a lot to do.
Yeah.
I mean, your center has an awful lot to do. So, and he's getting a little better. So, with that being said, with Chase and DL and this bunch, I think that we've got a ways to go with the offensive line, and I think it's a championship team that will go down of how much better they get as a group. Matt continues to grow as a quarterback. We continue to involve the 2 good receivers we got and a tight end, and then being able to throw the ball to the backs. The offensive line continues to improve on all aspects, and we just got to keep getting better. I mean, we're just halfway through the regular season, so we're only a third of the way through the season. So we got a lot of football. 11 games. 10 weeks and a couple of days continue to improve. So, a lot of football left to be played.
We're going to move you through this show pretty quick today. A lot of things you got to get back out there with your guys and get some things taken care of. Looking ahead to this Blount County game, they're different, right? 6A team traveling up to play you guys. What do you see as Blount's biggest strength or X factor that your team has been preparing to account for?
2 things. 1, speed.
Yeah.
They have tremendous speed. And number 2 is their schedule that they played has been really tough. I mean, they played Viger, and who's ranked number 1 in 5A, and a big game. Always Viger Blunt's a big game in Mobile, actually statewide. A lot of tradition between the 2 schools. Good crowd, played at Ladd Stadium. Looked like there were about 8,000 or 9,000 people there. So that's 1. They played Saraland. We all know about Saraland.
Yeah.
We all know about Gulf Shores.
Sure.
Last week. They beat Murphy 42-0.
Shut them out,
Yeah, shut them out. So they have played some quality people, especially 3 of them. Now, Murphy's down. And people are going to look at the record and say, well, they're 1-3. Well, their 3 losses have been thumped by a pretty good football team. So, and they are 6A, they're bringing 85 kids. So 85 kids are going to play nobody hardly both ways. I don't see anybody hardly playing both ways. So, and they'll rotate some kids in. So, they're going to probably play 35, 40 kids to our 15, 16, 17. So it's going to be very important in how we manage the game and understand that part of the game.
I hope they're overlooking us because they do go to Spanish Fort next week.
Right.
I'm overlooking.
But don't look for it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, you've played. I mean, this is compare them, if you will, Coach, to Pell City as far as those 2 teams.
Well, they're comparable, but they're not.
Yeah.
2 different types of defenses, 2 different types of offenses. So I don't. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I think talent-wise, they're right there with them.
Yeah.
I think, but Pell City's well coached.
Sure.
And in a lot of areas, and quarterback's the key. I think where Pell City's better is their quarterback's better than this kid.
Yeah.
This kid is a freshman, and so hopefully he's going to make freshman mistakes. Where, Brody bailed Pell City out against us. He really played well down the stretch in the 4th quarter. He brought them back. I give a lot of credit to Brody Gossett, and without him, then we win that game by 2 scores. But he did play, and so. But I think that to me that's the difference. I think there's some I think Pelsy's better in special teams overall. I think they're better at quarterback. Their receivers are a little more polished. I think defensively, Pelsy's where they're supposed to be most of the time. Sometimes Blunt will get misplaced, displaced, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
and hope we can take advantage of that.
They got some big dudes.
They're big.
They got that 300-plus defensive lineman.
They're big.
I saw him on film. I said, "Is this a college game I'm watching? Where is this kid? He is massive."
All you do is look at the YouTube copy of the Viper game. It's pretty impressive.
How does that factor in when you're trying to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball when your guys are facing up? How do you coach that up? You got some talented dudes.
You just gotta. It doesn't really change what you're doing based on size. I mean, obviously we've got a plan on what we want to do. We just got to go execute the plan and cut out silly mistakes. And I ran them this week for personal fouls, and I told them it's going to be double. They ran 11 gassers on Sunday, and they'll run 5 more on Sunday if we have silly penalties. So we got to cut the silly penalties out.
Smart.
We got to be good in special teams, and then we've got to execute. We have to execute and make the right decisions as a football player and as a football team. And if we do, hopefully them having to travel and playing on grass for the first time in a small stadium, they usually play in a big stadium, and we'll see. We'll see how they handle it.
Well, they're traveling 305 miles one way.
It's a minute.
Yep. So it definitely, there's definitely some advantages for us.
Sure.
And we don't know what the weather's gonna do.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
it could be a wet track.
Wait,
Plus,
got some practice last week on that.
Gadsden. Where's Gadsden? I don't know who Gadsden is.
Yeah, they do. They know.
That's so funny. Hey, let's talk about the coaching staff just a little bit, because we do talk about the kids getting better, and you guys are learning to coach together, right? It's a different staff. It's a new staff. Talk about the growth in the staff.
Well, I think they had to learn me
Sure.
of how I do things compared to what they had done in the past. Not to say that what they were doing was wrong, and by no stretch of the imagination, they've had success. But I do things differently, and I have a little bit different approach. So, and I think that, I think Martin does some good stuff. I think there's some things that he's done that he's adapted to that are good. But I'm a different guy and do things a little bit differently and look at things a little bit differently. So they've had to adapt to how I think and how I put a plan together and all those kinds of things. It's a little bit different, but I think they've done a good job. And I really think, especially here in the last couple of weeks, I think, especially last week, I think we offensively clicked pretty good, being on the same page. Where the week before we may not have been on the same page as much. So
Sure.
This week, I think we're starting to get some things worked out.
And I just love seeing the position coaches coach at practice, like Brian on the offensive line and Ronnie Flanagan. Some of the guys that we really don't talk about their names. They're an integral part of this coaching staff.
No, you got to have everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
you got the Brody kid from Fife, the young kid that played. At
We
Fife.
try not to talk about him, Coach.
He's a good kid. And
He's on every show we do. He comments.
And then my son Brian, John David, and then you got Coach Catlin. So you got Coach Catlin, you got Ronnie, you got Brody, you got of course Eric and Teddy. Then you got some young JV guys.
Oh, yeah.
With MJ and Reginald and
Barry Smith?
Barry Smith and people like that. And, Coach, Jackson on offensive line, our offensive receivers, and so we got a lot of things.
Matthew Crane.
Yep, Matthew Crane is
Big
a lot
victory for you guys. Again,
Yeah.
Tell me about that, because I know you were practicing and had a coaches meeting, but you shut out Moody.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it was. Now they did play a lot, mostly 7 and a few.
I don't like your tone, Coach.
Yeah,
Keep
but
it positive here.
but it's a good win. Anytime you win, it's good. I mean, I don't care what you do. Moody's got a good program, and so we continue to win and continue to get those kids some experience.
We live in a social media world, right?
Oh yeah.
If we want it or not.
Right. Obviously, your guys cannot have their devices at all when they're at practice or when they're doing work, and that I love that about what you do and what Coach O'Brien did before you. But when they go home, right, they're going to get on these sites, Max Preps, these other ones, and the associational websites, and look and see the numbers that Blunt has not put up, right? They're going to see they're not efficient or haven't been, but obviously the teams they've played. How much does that factor into their head? Well, they don't pass the ball well. They only run 40, 45 yards a game or whatever. I mean, how do you keep them from believing that kind of crap and then also their own hype?
Watching film. They see the film. They know they're in for a ball game because, they understand. They know who Sierra Atlantic Gulf Shores is. So I don't think statistically that buys into it this week. When you turn on the film and you see what kind of size and speed they have, and then the teams that they played, I think our kids realize that they're up against it this week.
They're football smart. Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fans on the other hand,
I think this group is.
And we're going to cut this show short, Coach. You got things you got to get to, but I want a couple quick things about. How about the Coosa Christian concession stand getting voted the concession stand of the week?
How about that?
By John Holder, who's
John
John
knows
Holder,
about
man.
concession
John Holder.
Did John eat 2 hot dogs there or something?
I'm sure.
I don't know, but it was
Sure.
him or Coach Short one. One of them named their concession stand of the week. And,
Good.
And that was fantastic.
Good.
You like concession stand, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Russian, yeah. What's your go-to at the concession stand? What does Rush get?
Whatever Deanna cooks.
No, so when you go away somewhere, what's your concession
I've always
go-to?
been a hot dog guy. So
What's about these coaches?
I always like a hot
Steve
dog.
Smith, same way.
I always like a good hot dog. Back in the days in the 80s, Alexandria and Welborn used to fight to have the best hot dog in County. So people used to talk about that all the time. So I used to ask college coaches because they'd come recruit.
Yeah.
And I used to ask these guys, who has the best concession? And it was hands down either Alexander Welborn, and I was from Ohatchee. And I would always be dishing on them guys. Y'all gotta get better. And I couldn't understand why Oxford wasn't there. But it was always Welborn. It was always Alexander was the best concession stand out there, and that was back in I guess from 80 to 86 when I left and went to Atlanta. So
That's great.
So but usually you ask those college coaches, people that go, and they'll tell you what the best concession stands are.
Well, congratulations to me. Hey, today's Deanna's birthday too, by the way.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Miss
birthday,
D.
Deanna.
So she's expecting a cake from you, right? Or a hot dog. Go make her a hot dog.
They do it.
They got it there. Hey, anything in closing? Again, I'm enjoying so much getting to pick on your son at practice.
That's fun.
Now he's finally opened up a little bit. He's just a silly, goofy kid that loves the game, loves coaching wide receivers, and he has fantastic technique. He's going to be, if he chooses to go that path, he's going to be a good coach.
Yeah, whether he goes, depending on how he goes, I don't know what he'll do, whether he's going to go into the coaching field or military or into business or whatever. But, I think a lot of times that gap year helps kids make decisions.
Yeah.
So I didn't just push him right into college. Hey, you got to go to school right now, or you got to go do this right now. So he graduated back in May, and I'm giving him a year to sort of figure it out, and so he still lives with us, and his grandmother lives in Pell City, so he goes back and forth some, but for the most part he stays here in Gadsden to help me coach, and we'll see what's on the horizon for him. But right now, he's got time. He's 18 years old, so he's got time. My daughter moved to Jacksonville State yesterday.
Good.
She pledged 5U. She's in a sorority, and the girls did a good job. She moved into her house with her roommate, and so she is now officially, at 19 years old, a sophomore at JSU, a college girl, because now she lives there. So,
But Jeff and I pledged the 5 guys, burger and fries back in the day. That was.
But it was tough on my wife to watch her go.
There's no question.
When you empty nest them last few, it's pretty tough. So.
Well, let me say, I keep seeing your wife fix your son's sandwiches. He ain't fixing his own.
No, he ain't gonna fix his own. He'll starve before he fixes his own.
And she made me one.
He needs to get out there and wash that truck.
You heard that. You heard it.
Hey, thank you to all our sponsors. We appreciate it, Coach. Hey, come out to this game, big game.
Big game.
Anytime a school like Blunt comes to town,
The Blunt Leopards.
man, it's a long way, 305 miles one way. Let's come give them heck, boys.
Well, I think. Listen, the last thing I will say before I leave is that this is a huge ball game for us, and I'll say why. We're approaching this like a championship ball game because it will give us some feedback and some data and how we handle a big game.
Like it.
The last big game we failed. and we made too many mistakes, and we lost the ball game in a game we should have won by 2 scores. Now we have another, basically a template right there, and we approach it the right way, and we'll see how we handle this week, and that'll go a long way in determining. And then we have a road game. We have some region games. Then we have a road game at TA, and then that will sort of set the die for the 5 rounds of playoffs.
Heck yeah.
Love it. All right, guys, get out to Phillip Ellen Stadium tomorrow night. Get there early. Get you good seat.
Or Friday.
Well, I keep thinking today's Thursday.
Yeah,
For whatever reason.
yeah.
I know I got church tonight. Get there Friday night. Get there early. Sit under the stands right there under the booth, so you can move Philip Franklin further down away from us. We
Praise
certainly
God.
would appreciate it. Stay close, stay clean. We'll see